Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and here we have a lineup of rotary machines, obviously. And what I wanted to do actually is I wanted to kind of focus on the Koblenz, which I picked up very recently, and just realized that it's out of whack here. Oh, put that back on. There we go. I actually had the motor apart. I guess I showed a video of that, but when I got it and I tried it out here, I thought, kind of sounds loud to me. But I've been using this machine for the last, well, more than 10 years, and I'm going to show you the difference. And this is a belt drive machine, and whereas all of these machines here, they have the planetary transmission. And it's been so many years since I actually used a machine with a planetary transmission. I guess I kind of forgot that it was pretty normal to actually hear, to some degree, the gear noise from the transmission. And although some have less noise than others, what I concluded in the end was that because of the design of this machine, because this is a plastic rotomolded housing, and it actually is hollow. It's got sort of a honeycomb in the bottom. I'll show you that in a sec. I think what's happening is it actually kind of is picking up the gear noise, and there's a slight vibration. You can feel it in the handle a little bit. Actually, you can feel it in all of these machines a little bit. I guess I'm just used to it. I'm not used to I'm not used to the planetary machines. Planetary gear machines do have a bit of a resonance, whereas the belt drive machine here doesn't have the gears that these are going through. And a planetary transmission, I actually looked up planetary transmissions on the internet there, and I was reading up a little bit about them, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. You know, you got three gears, and you got the one in the center. I think they call it the sun, and then the usually three on these machines, rotating around, and then there's the ring around the outside, and all this motion going through all the gears as they mesh. It's inevitable that there's going to be some degree of noise, and I guess a lot of it depends on how they make the transmission, and maybe the way that they cut the gears and things like that. So one might have more of a sound than another, and we'll get to that in a sec. But I'll just show you the we'll focus on the Koblenz first. I've only ever, other than when I saw this one, I'd never seen one before in person. So, and I actually just assumed that the base was metal. I didn't realize they were plastic, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. In fact, there's some advantages to that, because 10 years down the road, it's not going to look like that. This machine has been around for a long time, and you can see the paint is peeling off, and it looks beat up, and that's inevitably what happens to these machines, and it will happen to this machine as well. I've had other machines like this Hawk. I had a Mustang many years ago, and the metal bell housing ended up rusting right around the bottom. Inevitably, it will rust, and I pulled it off eventually and had it sandblasted and powder coated, and because I hate things not looking nice when you go into people's houses. You need to look good. There are other issues too that I found was the pinch mechanism for the raising and lowering of the handle. Inevitably, they will wear. That is a wear point, and I think that the type that spins like this, on this machine, and on this machine, and on this machine, I think that's a better choice for a handle release, because I think, well, it won't wear like this will. These always, I've replaced them on a machine. I think it was the Mustang I replaced it on, because I used it for a few years, and I actually ended up selling that machine. I think that was the one where I had to replace the shear pin as well. That's been a long time. But anyway, now I did show that, replacing the shear pin. I had this motor apart. You go back a few videos where I pulled the Koblenz apart, because I was trying to figure out whether or not there was an issue with, I wondered if it was an issue with the bearings on the motor, and there's not. The bearings are perfectly fine, but I took the motor apart, took the stator out, took the field off, got right down to where the transmission is, and there's the shear pin in there, which I pulled out, and I showed you all that, and very easy to get at, really, actually. But overall, I am actually really quite impressed with the overall quality appearance of this machine. And I know two guys that have them. One is Brandon from BM Carpet Cleaning. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got lots of videos showing him using his Koblenz. And then also Paul at Washington Pro has one as well. And so both these guys, maybe they can chime in if they see this video and give their thoughts on the Koblenz. But my overall impression is it actually seems to be a pretty well-made machine. I think their price point is pretty good. I don't know what the current price is. And I think they actually sell them on Amazon. I believe they do. But they're a lesser priced machine. But the components in the machine do seem to be pretty good quality. When I opened up the motor, I saw no indication that the motor wasn't as good quality as any I've ever seen. And then the way that the handle goes together down there, that looks pretty skookum. In fact, that looks better to me than the setup over here on this. This is actually a Hawk. And I've seen in the way that the handle support, that arm goes to where the axle is there. I've seen those wear out on this style of machine, and this is a standard style of machine. There's many manufacturers that have their own name on the machine, but basically the machine is the same. It even has the same handle up here. This is a very common handle. This is a little different. I've never seen one with a safety lock the way this one is. And it's got a very heavy cord, heavier than normal, I would say. It's the handle release is aluminum. So is the actual pinch mechanism. The wheels you've got extra washers on both sides. This part here seems pretty heavy duty. Overall, I like the way it looks, and I'll show you what's underneath because I mentioned that. And it's got a standard hub here and clutch, all one piece. And to get the motor off, all you do is just undo these bolts and it pulls right out. But you can see how this is actually hollow, and that's why they've got these. I guess you go with like honeycombs. That gives it greater rigidity. But what I think is occurring, why I'm hearing a sound that I'm not used to, is that this actually acts as a resonator. So it kind of amplifies the sound. And I know that because I pulled the motor out and I turned it on, completely disengaged from this base, and it was very quiet. I could feel a very slight vibration coming out of the transmission as it turned, as the motor was running, but the sound that I'm hearing, sort of the low rumbles that were completely disappeared. So it's what we're getting is, on this machine, we're getting you're hearing the gear noise transmitting into the plastic and amplifying in this hollow chamber. It's like a big speaker. That's kind of funny. However, I don't think this is a bad thing, because the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of all this being plastic, because it will never rust. It will be easy to wipe down. It will, I guess this plastic could scratch fairly easily, but you could take a blowtorch and actually repair it a little bit. I've seen people do that. But anyway, don't scratch it. Don't bump into things. So I guess being a plastic, they don't bother putting a rubber bumper on like this has, and well, that has, and that has. This is a little bit different. Well, it's still rubber, I guess. But anyway, would I recommend a Koblenz? Yeah, I think so. So if you're looking for a rotary, they do have a 15-inch. This is a 17. I don't know if they have a bigger one or not. This is a 1.5 horsepower, which is great. I believe it weighs 88 pounds, which is a good weight, particularly if you're going to use it for carpet cleaning. You don't want anything too heavy. I don't know how one would put bigger wheels on there. I haven't really thought that through. I'm not really all that interested in doing that anyway, because I have no plans for this machine in the future. Either Roger's going to buy that machine, or he's going to be buying this one from me. We're trying to figure out what's the best choice for him. He'll decide. But either way. So what I did want to do is I want to show you the difference in the way these machines sound. Give you an idea. So we'll start with this one. Oh, maybe I haven't got it plugged in. Do I? I thought I did. try that. Okay. Let's give it a try. So I guess, you know, actually it sounds better than it did the other day. Now, I did actually do something. When I pulled the motor off, I had some really nice thick rubber gasket material, and I made a gasket and put it in place where the motor sits down in place. So I've isolated the motor a little bit off of the body there of the bell housing there, so maybe that's helping. We'll try it on a pad in a sec. But anyway, that's the Koblenz. Again, I think it's I don't know the price. Go check out the price, and maybe Brandon and maybe Paul will come on board here when I post this and give their thoughts. They've had the machines. I think Brandon's had his about 3 years. Maybe Paul's had his about that long as well. But anyway, so I'll run this one. This is a belt drive. So this definitely has a different feel and a different sound. We'll run it on the carpet or on the floor in a sec. But when I'm running it, to me, it just sounds like a hum. So now let's go over to, we'll do with this machine here, the older one. So this is another single-speed planetary transmission motor. But I can feel a little bit of vibration up the handle. Okay, now we'll do the we'll run the Hawk. The Hawk is a 2-speed. So now one of the things I've noticed is that the 2-speeds generally have a whine to them, and I think that it's possibly maybe they've got a different cut on the gears. Or the other thing that I've always actually thought was that what we're hearing is because it has 4 carbon brushes, we're hearing the carbon brushes. So this machine and this machine and this machine do not have carbon brushes. They're a capacitor start motor, and so that means that they don't have carbon brushes. So I'm thinking that one of the reasons we're hearing a whine out of these machines, these 2-speed machines, is because of the carbon brushes. We're hearing actually the sound of the carbon brush on the commutator. That's why we're getting this whine. I don't think that's the transmission, because it just doesn't make quite sense to me. I guess it could be, but I don't think so. I think it's hard to say. Different design of the motor, I guess. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe different bearings in there. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe they have bushings. That's a good, interesting thought. Never thought of that. Okay, now we'll go over to the Centaur. Now this machine has a definite different feel than any of them. I don't know what they're doing different exactly, but this has a very, very smooth feel to it. I feel, of all the machines, this has the least amount of vibration coming up the handle, which is interesting. It's incredibly smooth. I don't know why that is, but anyway, that's one of the things that sets the Centaur apart, and it's one of the reasons why I bought it, because I knew they were a really high quality machine. So let's put the MD180 on a pad, run it on the concrete here. We'll compare what we hear, at least. So there you go. That's what I hear when I run my MD180. Just a very quiet hum. And I actually have people often comment to me when I've been using this machine how quiet it is. And that's what I'm used to over the last 10 plus years. So when I got the Koblenz, which I'll run next, you'll hear quite a bit of a difference in the way it sounds. So this is just so nice and smooth. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Get it out of the way. Yeah, get the cord out of the way. Oops. Okay, so let's try the Koblenz. Well, it's a 17-inch pad driver on there. So this is a spin-off pinch mechanism, and again, I think they're a better choice. You can see how the this just seems to be really made well. It's got really good bushings in here, obviously, to reinforce the plastic. I don't know if that, you know, this would be a machine that you, I don't know what happened to the plastic 10 years down the road, but there's plastic and then there's plastic, so maybe this is really good quality. I think it is. That's my impression anyway. So let's we'll turn it on. And so we're getting a bit of a resonance, depending on where how you move the machine to. And if you go on, what I did is I went on to some of Brandon's videos where he's using his Koblenz, and I hear the same sound. And as well, I've seen a couple of Paul Washington Pro with his Koblenz. Again, there's a bit of a sound, and there's a bit of a vibration comes up the handle. So this will be magnifying the transmission gears coming up the handle. It's just, and I think that one of the reasons why this machine would do this less is because the metal is going to absorb, the more solid metal there is going to absorb more of the vibration, whereas I think that the plastic housing, the way they've made this, it kind of amplifies this. I don't think that's a bad thing. Maybe it's a trade-off. It's not going to rust. That's a good thing. You know, this machine, you know, years down the road is not going to have the paint peeling off and the rust appearing all over it. You know, that's a good point. And I've always liked the way these things looked. You know, as soon as I saw it, I you know, when I went to buy the thing, I was like, that's a nice looking machine. I like the way it looks. It looks like a real professional type of machine. Of course, it looks really good with the set logo on there too. Okay, so we'll take that off of there. We'll get this out of the way. We'll try this machine. Is it in? There it is. Okay. This actually isn't a bad made machine. You can see it's got a really skookum solid looking mechanism there, where the way the handle goes in there. But there's some play in there, I just noticed. Anyway, let's give it a try. Okay, that doesn't sound good. Now I remember that I did try this. Oh, okay, there's some play in that mechanism down there. That's what's partly where we're getting that sound from. It's a dustbane, I just realized. I see the D there on the side. Has this, it's a Canadian company. This is a pretty old machine, actually. But, I was actually going to give it away. Then I was thinking, well, maybe I'll pull it apart and paint it up and fix bushings, and then I'll sell it. And then I'm thinking, like, why would I do that? Just get rid of it. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet. It's not going to be worth much no matter what. So anyway, okay, let's go over to the Hawk. Hawk's a good brand. I'm certainly not saying anything negative about Hawks. I think they're a good brand. It is a standard kind of a style machine, is the way they've made it. This is, like I said, there's quite a number of manufacturers that have machines that look very similar, the same style with the way the base is, the same apron or bell housing, the same mechanism or similar mechanism for raising and lowering the handle, same handle up here, the way the handle attaches onto the axles, the way it does there. This is a very standard machine. I don't know if Hawk actually makes it or if someone else makes it. I think I think the NSS is almost identical. I had a Mustang, which I'm pretty sure was almost identical. So it's a standard machine. Nothing spectacular about it. There are differences with the Koblenz that I see are better quality. Just so I just wanted to mention that. I think the Koblenz is a better made machine as far as the way the components go together and everything. At least that's my impression. Yeah, Roger has one of these where it got this arm that goes down here got all worn, and it's wobbling around, and it's a problem. So you can hear mechanical stuff going on. That's what you're hearing. I'm not saying this is bad. I mean, this could go 20 years for all I know without any problem at all. It's just, this is what you're hearing. Of course, this is low speed. Here's high speed. All right, we'll put it aside. Again, I don't think, well, I haven't figured out how I'd put big wheels on a machine with this style of the way the wheels are. I mean, maybe there's a way, but I haven't bothered to figure it out, and I don't have any intention of doing that either. So I do have an idea how it might work, but I don't. I'm not interested in doing it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we'll try the now here's the Centaur. Now I've been talking about the Centaur quite a bit the last little while since I picked up two of them, and this is absolutely the best quality machine I've ever used, no doubt about it. This is so smooth. It's amazing how immediately you can feel it. It feels incredibly solid. And that's at the low speed. Here's the high speed. It's very smooth. So there you go. There's some thoughts and observations, and perhaps food for thought, I guess. You guys out there who use rotaries, or you're thinking about getting a rotary, or whatever, there are some things to consider. I think that if I was in the market for a rotary right now, if I was starting off, I would definitely take a solid look at the Koblenz. As I mentioned, they do have a 15-inch as well as the 17. Some guys prefer to go with the smaller machine for residential. That's fine. Or is it a 13? No, I think it's a 15. Oh, maybe it's a 13. I can't remember now. They have a smaller one, and this is the 17. So, and I've been using a 17-inch for my main machine for many years, residential, no problem at all. And you can certainly do commercial with a machine like this as well. It's not going to be as fast as either that one, which is a 2-speed, or that one, which is a 2-speed on steroids. But anyway, if you're new into the business and you're looking for a good rotary, consider the Koblenz. I'm not sure, but I think that the end cap store is selling them. They were. Somebody mentioned something about that the other day, saying that they weren't sure if they were still selling the Koblenz, but otherwise, I do believe that they're on Amazon, or I don't know wherever else you get them, but I would consider Koblenz. There's lots of different manufacturers of rotaries, so whichever one you decide to go with, just compare the different features. That's all I can say. But anyway, hopefully that'll give you something to think about, and we're all just trying to learn how to do this as best we can, and learn from one another, and hopefully this kind of content helps you guys out there who are, you're wanting to learn and you're curious about how to do things. So anyway, I'm going to stop yapping. I can't think of anything else intelligent to say. Anyway, I'll let you go. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.